welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on the Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet Eyeshadow Palette. If you do want to see a review and a demo, please keep watching. This palette retails for $49 at Ulta, Sephora, and wherever else Urban Decay is sold. I do want to read a little bit about this eyeshadow palette on Ulta's website. That's where I purchased mine. It does say Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet Eyeshadow Palette comes with 12 purple and neutral eyeshadows in matte, shimmer, and glitter eyeshadow finishes alongside a holographic pearl transformer. Ooh, that's super interesting. A vivid addition to the Naked palette lineup, these peachy neutrals, lavenders, violets, and deep purple eyeshadows create endless eye looks with iridescent shimmers, light reflecting shifts, and a holographic transformer, which they mentioned up above. It goes on to say that these eyeshadow shades blend seamlessly for eyeshadow looks from soft to bold. It's also cruelty free. Here's a closer look on what the packaging looks like. It says Urban Decay. This is the reason why I did purchase this palette, because of the purple packaging. You guys know that purple is my favorite color. Hopefully the shadows are good. When you flip it over on the back, it does say Urban Decay. You have a little description here, you have it in a different language, and then you have the shade names at the bottom. I haven't even opened up the palette yet, so I wanted to do it live on camera with you guys. I love this packaging, it's so beautiful. And then on the back, it's just plum purple. It doesn't say much, but let's see what the inside looks like. Here's what the inside of the palette looks like. I'm not a huge fan of the color story, and it also does come with a mirror and a brush. First shade in the palette is called Tripping. Very soft in the pan. Here's what that shade looks like. Tripping is described as a warm ivory satin shade. I do want to blend it out just so we can see what it looks like. Here's that shadow. The next shade is called Mind Slip. Another soft matte shadow. Here's what that shade looks like. Mind Slip is described as a soft peachy matte shadow. Let's blend it out. I can barely see it on my skin. The next shade is called Dazed. Here's what Dazed looks like. Very pretty. Dazed is described as a golden pink shimmer with gold micro pearls. Let's blend this out. Ooh, this is a very beautiful shimmer shadow. The next shade is called Hacked. Very soft in the pan. Here's what Hacked looks like. Hacked is described as a nude mauve matte shadow. This is actually interesting. I've never had an Urban Decay palette that once you blend it out, it just disappears. Maybe it's just this shade, but this shadow, you can barely see it. Maybe it's just not for my skin tone. The shade is called VR. Here's what that shadow looks like. Very pretty. Again, I love the shimmers. VR is described as a raspberry sparkle with iridescent micro shimmer. So pretty. Very reflective too. Let's blend this out. Here's what it looks like blended out. Beautiful. The next shade is called Lucid. Here's what Lucid looks like. Wow, that teal really pops. Lucid is described as a holographic green pearl shift. It's a very pretty shadow. Let's blend this out. Wow, very pretty again. The shimmers are where it's at in this palette so far. The next shade is called Optimized. Another soft shadow in the pan. Here's what Optimized looks like. Optimized is described as a lavender matte shadow. Very beautiful. Let's blend this out. Hopefully it doesn't disappear on me. I do want to build up that shade in Optimized. I have a little bit more on my finger. We're gonna build it up and blend it out. Here we have that beautiful lavender shade in Optimized. It's not as pigmented as I would like it to be. Hopefully it will work on the eyes. The next shade in the palette is called Warning. Here's what the shade in Warning looks like. Warning is described as a bright pink satin with a purple shift. Let's blend this out. Beautiful. I really love that purple. It's gorgeous. The next shade is called Cyberpunk. Where do they come up with these names? Here we have the shade in Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is described as a violet shimmer with pink micro shimmer. Let's blend this out. I really do love the shimmers. They're very eye-catching and they pop. The next shade is called Euphoric. Another shimmer. Here's what that shadow looks like. Euphoric is described as a cool tone, light purple with blue shift. Beautiful. Let's blend it out. So gorgeous. This section really is speaking to me. The second to last shade is called Purple Dust. Here's what Purple Dust looks like. So gorgeous. Purple Dust is described ultraviolet with iridescent micro shimmer. So beautiful. Look at that. That is such a gorgeous shade. The last shade in the palette is called Digital. Here's what Digital looks like. Digital is described as a smoky black with red micro shimmer. Hopefully you guys can see it. Here we have all 12 shades swatched on the back of my hand. Now we're gonna create a look using this palette. I'm gonna be using the brush that came with the palette. It does have a dual end. It's got a fluffier side and a more pointed side. Let's go ahead and use this. I'm gonna try and create a purpley look. Taking the fluffy side of the dual ended brush, we're gonna dip into the shadow and hack. Wow, that's a lot of product on the brush. We're definitely gonna dust that off. We don't need a ton of product. I'm gonna be taking that and blending that in my crease. We're gonna be doing little circular motion. It looks really pretty. I'm gonna be doing the same thing for the other eye. Blend it out really nicely. Taking the same side of the brush, we're gonna dip into the shadow and optimize. And I'm gonna be blending this shadow right below the first shade. Again, we're gonna be doing circular motion. Those two shadows blended out very easily. It's looking great so far. Taking my finger, we're gonna dip into the shadow in Cyberpunk. I'm gonna be applying that all over the lid. Very pretty. Taking the other side of the dual-ended brush, we're gonna dip into the shadow Euphoric. I'm gonna be applying that shadow in my inner corner. Wow, that shade is really pigmented. Gave it a little bit of pop. Flipping over the dual-ended brush, we're gonna dip into the shadow in Purple Dust. We're gonna be applying a little bit of the shadow on my outer corner. I just want a little bit of like oomph at the very end. Just a touch, not too much. You see how this gave it a little bit of an oomph at the very end where there's nothing on this side. For mascara, I'm gonna be applying my L'Oreal Unlimited Mascara. For lips, I'm gonna be applying the Sephora Collection Lip Last Matte Lipstick. Here's how the look turned out. My final thoughts on the Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet Eyeshadow Palette is that I don't really love this eyeshadow palette like I thought I would. I do really love the shimmer shadows and I am going to be playing with them a ton, but the matte shadows in this palette fell short for me. I wasn't in love with the 3 matte shades in this palette. I love the shimmer shades in the palette. They're so unique. I thought the packaging would reflect the shadows inside of the palette, but it really doesn't. I really think they could have got rid of this side of the palette and this side of the palette. It would have looked really good and just added more purple tones in this palette. I think it would have been a hit. I'm gonna give this matte palette, I mean, the shimmer shadows, like I said, it's where they're at, but it's not a 10 out of 10. The quality of the shadows I really do like. They blend out really nicely, but I still have to play with this palette. If you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video.